Good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this video. And this is the first in a series of Inventor videos. And this first part isn't going to sound like we're really even working on Inventor, but it's really important. This program is very, along with SolidWorks and any other 3D program, very picky about where it saves things. We used to save things to a shared file, but now we save things on the desktop because they've taken those away. And we don't want to save things in the program. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to create a folder on your desktop. If you already know how to do this, just bear with me. So we're going to think about your mouse right here in the middle of the screen. Get it where you're not on an icon. On your mouse, you have three controls: a left button for a click, right button for a click, and then you have the roller ball. You can roll it up and down, and you can also click on that roller ball and do some things. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click. It's going to pop up a menu, view, sort, refresh, and we want new. And we want to create a new folder. So then left click on folder. It's going to give you a folder and I want you to name it. And what I want you to do is use your first initial, underscore, and then your last name. So I'm going to do this in all caps only because I already have a folder up here, as you can see. So P Martin. And you can put your first initial underscore last name and just leave it as that, or you can write Inventor files under it like I have done with this one. This is where I'm going to be saving mine, but I just wanted to show you how to do this. I'm going to click somewhere off of that, and I've created my file. So I'm going to drag it over here. I like to keep my stuff over here. This is where you're going to save all of your stuff. So I don't care if you just do your first initial last name, or if you do first initial last name and then Inventor files. This is only going to appear on your desktop. It won't appear on other people's desktops. So if someone else logs in another class, they won't see that. Okay. When you find Inventor up here, which I've removed my shortcut, but if you look, you'll see it here. You probably have two Inventor icons here. Just hover over them. See how the title appears there? Make sure you have Inventor 2020 because 2018 is on there and 2020 should also be on there. Take that Inventor icon, left click and hold it down and drag it down here to your taskbar. You can see I already have mine down here. I like to have my common apps down here. That way, even when I have stuff on my screen, I can still access these even though these icons up here are buried behind whatever application I've opened. So once you've dragged Inventor 2020 down to your taskbar, I want you to click on it. You'll get your little spinny icon and it'll launch. Now mine's already running, so I'm going to click on it to bring the window up. It's going to take a minute or two to launch this program. It's a large program, very memory intensive. Takes a few seconds. Wait until it's fully launched and you have this screen. Okay, so you've created a folder on your desktop with your first initial last name. You've launched Inventor. And the way we're going to start on this program is one of two ways. You've got the new right here, or you can go to File and click on New. Now, if you have a previous version, you might have clicked on the I for Inventor, and it would do the same thing as File. That's no longer there. And so when I click on File, which is the way I like to do it, you're going to see all these options of New, Open, Save, Save As, Export, Share, Manage, all kinds of different things. So when I'm off this, what you're going to see is some different projects that I've done. Okay? And again, this isn't necessarily where I want to launch from when I'm reopening something, but that's going to be a different video how to reopen. I'm going to click on New, or I can wait for it to expand this out, but I really want to click on it. Takes it a second, okay? And it's going to have some templates in here. And what you want to do is click on English, expand that out, go down here. And you're going to see standard IPT. Okay, this is where we want to go. So we don't want to be in the metric, we want to be on the English. So right here, I can close this or I can expand it. Clicking on that arrow, I can close this, I can expand it. And then just click on English and it's going to pop up this menu right here. Now there's two ways to open programs. I double click most of the time. You can click and then create. Whatever is highlighted down here is an option. So then create. Like I said, I'm going to double click. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up the standard built-in template for inches. If you saw the IN after that for English, it takes a little bit to open it up. your towers are a little bit faster than my laptop. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a template with your name on it that you're going to start from every time from now on. And that way it's already got all of your settings in it. No sketches created. It's going to keep us from having a lot of different conflicts. Taking it a second to load. Okay. It's very important that you watch all of these videos before you come in here, and that you watch them all the way through before you start working, and then you can use them to work with. I go over a lot of things in here that you need to know. Let me hit the first thing with you, and that is, if you see this full menu here, sometimes that goes away. Usually because you've clicked on something that you shouldn't have. You're not going to hurt anything, but it goes away. How do I get it back? Sometimes, I swear, it just does it on its own. See this last icon right here? If I click this, it's going to scroll through different view options. So I click it once, and if you notice, it goes to these major icons. Those right there are nice. So sketch, create, yada, yada. If I click on it again, they go away and they're replaced with words. And then you have little drop-down menus. And again, I still have, like, man, all these up here stay the same, and then I have these. Then I'm going to click it one more time. Everything goes away except for your very top menus. And then I click it again and I'm back to where I want. So if this ever goes away, click on this icon right here. So that's the kind of thing you're going to learn as you watch through these videos. You can figure it out on your own. But if you'll watch these all the way through, it's going to save me coming over to your desk all the time. And it's going to make things go a lot faster for you. Okay, so I'm going to set up a template. So I'm going to go over here to the Tools drop-down menu. So on this ribbon, these are called a ribbon here. So I'm going to go to the Tools menu, click Tools, and I get some new things here. Okay, so I'm going to go to Document Settings. Application is for the application in general, no matter what document you're running. Document Settings is going to be for this template that I'm making, and that way these settings will stay in there. So I've got a couple of tabs across here. So the standard tab, this is fine. Make sure yours looks like this. Then I'm going to go to Units, most important one we're going to do here. You make sure your length is on inches, angle is degree, these should be seconds, and pounds mass. Your linear dimension display precision, I want you to click on that, and I want you to show 4 decimal places. This is going to help us out. If we have a ½ inch, it's 0.5. It's going to show 0.5000. Where this becomes important is if I have a 1/4 inch, 0.25, the other one would have been fine. But if I have an 1/8 or a 1/16 inch, I want to make sure it shows this whole amount here, and it's going to show all 4. Now, as we get into precision and tolerance, we're going to change this to whatever the specifications are for what we're manufacturing. And then angular dimensions, we're fine with this. Generally, with angles, you're to the nearest degree anyway, so 2 decimal places is more than enough. Where this is really nice, again, if I'm at an 1/8 inch, 0.125, so again, that's going to be 3 decimal places, but if I go to a 1/16 inch, it's 0.0625. So I want to be able to have those 4 decimals on there, and that's going to help me see what I actually have on there. And we're going to display that as the tolerance, so everything here is good. Go to Sketch. Okay, going to make a couple changes here, very important. The snap spacing on the X, we're going to change that to 0.25. And then down here for the Y, same thing, 0.25. What that's going to do is help you line things up. We can get anything between a 1/4 inch using the dimension tool, but for right now, just 0.25 is plenty for our snap spacing. For your grid display right here, change this to 1. So down click to 1, and then minor lines, we're going to go down to 4. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to snap every 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to have 4. So the minor lines, and then I'm going to have 4 minor lines per every major line. So I'm going to have, just like graph paper, I'm going to have a line that's a 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to have every 4 inches have a darker line. So it's just like graph paper. Should make you very comfortable with it. Your background right now is kind of a grayish color. Don't worry about that. We're going to change that here in just a little bit. Leave this alone, and just make sure everything else looks like mine. Modeling, so leave this alone. Make sure everything looks like what I have. Bill of materials, we'll deal with this in another video, and default tolerance, we'll deal with that in another video. So click apply and close. Then we're going to go back up to applications. Okay, Got a lot of tabs up here. So we're on general. So just make sure everything looks like this. You should have your username right here. Okay. And everything here should be the same. Just change up. Make sure everything here is fine. Spell check is on. Go to save. Leave this alone. Should be look just like this. File. Leave that alone. Colors. Okay. So we're going to change our color. Again, you can see some of these. Deep blue looks like a nice one, but it can be problematic. High contrast sounds great, but it's just black and white. It's terrible. Millennium is one Coach Drag and a couple of the other instructors like. It's okay. I want you to choose sky, because what this can do is give us a light blue background with dark blue lines. Makes it really, really easy. It, again, simulates a lot of graph paper that we work on in the real world. So choose sky. And then come over here and drag your bar down. And everything else there should be the same. Choose sky. Display. So document settings. Should be good here. Should be good here. Check, make sure everything is the same as what I have here. Hardware. We want that on performance rather than quality. Okay. Conservative, if we're getting really slow machines, we got to switch up to that. But we should be on performance. Prompts, don't worry about that. Drawing, okay, so click on the drawing, retrieve all model dimensions on view placement. Make sure that is clicked, okay, so all of these boxes right here should be selected. Probably the top one is not, so make sure all those are selected. Come down here, click in the bottom right if that's not already there, and otherwise everything else here should be the same. And what this can do is when we make a mechanical drawing of this thing, it's going to put a title block down here on the bottom. But also when we create our title block or create our drawings, it's going to pull all the dimensions that we made in our part when we created it. Now we can delete those, we can drag them around and put them in a nice place, but that way we don't have to redo them. And then display the line weights, but all this should be all right. Okay, notebook, just check that, make sure it's like mine. Okay, and then your sketch. Very important, sketch, this tab right here. So this should be here, spline method standard. Make sure snap to grid here is chosen. Okay, we definitely want the snap to. I'll show you how to turn that off when you want to get something between the snaps. We just set ours up for 1/4 of an inch. If I want to put something at a 1/16 of an inch, I can manually do that. So we're going to leave it at a 1/4 inch for now, and we want that snap to grid on. Very easy to turn off inside of a drawing. Make sure all 4 of these are done. So grid lines, minor grid lines, your axes, and the coordinate system indicator. I noticed last year a lot of times this was unselected. We want to make sure all 4 of those are done. Make sure your heads-up display is on. That's this little box over here. It's going to be a cube when we get into 3 dimensions. Okay, come up to the top. So for part, we should be good there. Make sure everything looks like this. No new sketch. You can put it on sketch on the XY plane, which will set it to that default, but we want to select which plane we start our drawings on. Eye feature, assembly, so don't worry about this. We'll come back when we hit assemblies towards the end of this section, this unit on Inventor and drafting, and then Content Center. So go ahead and click OK, or you can click Apply, and then Close. Okay. So at this point, it doesn't look like anything's changed other than your screen color, but I promise you it has. Okay, and I'll show you why here in a second. But we're going to finish in the next video, I should say. But for right now, we're going to go up here to File, left click, go to Save As. You get a pop-out menu, Save Copy as Template. Click on that. Okay, so right now you can see it's in the English US. Click on English. Okay. Now you can see I've already created one of these down here. We're going to do something very similar here. So down here to file name, and I want you to do your first initial last name. So I'm going to do this all caps so it doesn't conflict with the other one. So P_Martin space 0.25. Please don't create a file that says P_Martin 0.25. Your first initial and your last name. Last year I literally used your name, and I had a bunch of people saved their templates as your name. So your first initial, your last name, put the underscore there, and then 0.25. This is your 1/4 inch template, 0.25. So go ahead and save that. It's telling me it already exists. Do you want to replace it? I'm going to say yes. That won't pop up for y'all because it doesn't recognize the all caps when we're doing these file names like this. So it was okay with that folder on the desktop, but not this time. All right. So now I want you to come over here, X out, save the changes to part 1. No, you've already saved your template. Okay, and you're back to your home screen. Okay, now see here, you can see I've created some files. This is not where we want to launch stuff from. When we create a new part, we're going to be going from our template. When we're restarting a part, what we'll do is we'll go in here and then we'll use our open. Again, that's going to be our next video in here. So I'm going to go to new, click on this. And again, I could go to file and get my drop down, but I like the new. Okay. And click here. And you should see your template right there. So we're going to double click this. Or click and then open. So, well, it looks just the same. All right. Well, we're going to start a 2D sketch. And at this point, I want you to stop and just watch what I'm doing. Now it pops up and I've got 3 planes here. So right here, and you can see this kind of corresponds to this. I have the XZ plane. You can see the title right here. Or you can look down here at your coordinate axis here. So that's the XZ plane. Then you get right here and you got to kind of get, where you're at an unencumbered edge. Now I'm in the YZ plane. And again, you can see the title down here. Most of the time, we're going to start in the XY plane. That's the X and Y coordinate axis, just like you do in geometry class, algebra class, pre-algebra class. So we're going to click on that. And we have this right here. You can see we have our coordinate axis here. This is just an indicator, but this is our coordinate on our actual drawing. Okay, you can see our front right here. Now when I come over here, see the home key? Okay, I can click this, and it's going to give me 3 dimensions. Now it's going to be a tilt. I'm going to click back on that front. Okay, now it just changes. Now it looks like graph paper. So remember the red roller ball? If I roll it back towards me, it's going to zoom in. So 1, 2, 3, 4/4 inches. Big lines are 1 inch. So if I were to draw a rectangle, notice how it's a yellow dot there? When I get to the origin, see how it turns green. I always want to start at the origin. Click, and then drag this thing out. And if you notice, I got 3 inches by 2 inches. And that's what that Snap to grid does. So I click that, boom, there it is. So this allows me to get something real quick. We're going to get more into this in the first project, but I just wanted to show you what you created. I'm going to click Finish Sketch. Hopefully you didn't do this because you weren't supposed to. Drag things around, show you how to operate all this. If you were following me, which you were not supposed to be, click this out. When it says, do you want to save changes to part 2? Say no. Our template's already in there. Okay, so that's the end of our first video. How to create a template in Inventor in the English system. We can create any number of templates for 16th inch snaps, 8th inch snaps. We can go to metric and create one for millimeters, and we may do that in a future video. But that's what we want right now, 0.25. That will be what we'll be starting from, and we'll do that again in the next video. And again, if you have any questions, raise your hand. I'll come around to help you. These videos are help you move at your own pace. And I'm here to help you when these videos can't answer those questions for you.